What is Mabon? In this video we discuss the pagan festival and share ways that you can celebrate. Stick around to the end for our power tips.
Hello, I'm Max Raven.
And I'm Cassandra Raven. Together we have over 30 years experience in the occult, witchcraft and magic.
We share insight, knowledge, advice and lifestyle tips to make your magic go further and add potency to your work.
So Mabon, or Mabon, or Maon, depending on where you're from, is named after the Welsh god of male fertility. It's a celebration that occurs on the Autumn Equinox around the 22nd to the 23rd of September.
Many traditions all over the world have a celebration at this time. Mabon, being one of the oldest harvest celebrations in Europe, it is a time of equal light and dark. These times were recognised by the English and Celts, but was brought over as a celebration by the Norse invaders.
So Mabon is the second of three harvests. It's right in the middle between Lunasa and Samhain. And it's a time of being grateful, it's gratitude, it's Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is something that is celebrated in the US and in Canada roughly around the same time of year, although not at the same time as Mabon. But it's the same idea, it's being thankful, it's being grateful for the harvest.
Around this time you can gather your things like nuts, berries, apples, grapes, and you're using this bounty and getting out into nature to become closer to it. Some fantastic traditions at this time is making cider, apple and blackberry pies, which is a personal favourite.
Yeah, I love all that stuff. It's comfort food. And in the Northern Hemisphere we're moving into autumn, we're moving into winter. The nights are getting darker earlier, and it's all about that feeling of bringing the outside into the home, so celebrating by bringing nature into the home, by bringing in, you know, the boughs, similar to Yule or Christmas, where you bring in the holly, you bring in, you know, the boughs and the greenery.
Yeah, so you might bring in things like, say, ivy, or there are various plants. One that I certainly like to use for decorating our altar is bryony, because it's got these fantastic, beautiful berries, and it grows in the hedgerows near the house. Yeah, so it's bringing in the elements of that autumn, that change into your home.
Mabon is really the beginning of Samhain, or Halloween.
Yes.
It's the start of the Halloween season, and this time, I mean, recently, I think in very modern times.
Yeah.
Really recently, in the past sort of
past
5 years or so, it seems to be that in our community, among the people that we know that are aware of witchcraft, or that are aware of paganism at least, and the changing of the season, it's like the 1st of September, bam, it's Halloween. Like, we're celebrating Halloween straight away from the 1st of September. And it's that kind of feeling, isn't it?
And it can go from being, right, we're on the beach, this is lovely, 1st of September, it's like, oh, screw this, I'm getting into the Halloween costume.
It's Halloween, yeah.
It's very much so now. And that's the fantastic things about Mabon. It's this sort of in-between time where it's moving towards that final marker point of the summer. Yeah,
and
warmth.
When you're sort of saying goodbye to the summer as well, and moving into the winter season, when you look at it in terms of the deities are moving into their older phases. You know, you've got the sort of, what was the maiden in the spring, and then the mother in the summer is now becoming the crone, moving into the winter months.
The god is getting prepared for his ritual sacrifice at Samhain, moving into the winter.
So really Mabon really is the beginning of that transition, the beginning of that sort of
the end of life
into the
elements,
darkness. Yeah. Another aspect of Mabon is honouring the dead.
Yes, which is very, very similar. There are all sorts of traditions which, if you saw it, you would go, that's clearly Halloween.
Yeah.
But one thing I always like to do when we're celebrating, or we have any sort of one of the main festivals that we celebrate, is to have the chair for the uninvited guest. And this is basically setting an extra place at your table, having an empty chair, which for any ancestor spirits or any helpful energies is showing that they are welcome to come and to interact.
Yeah, that's really nice, and you're just leaving that space for them to be to be at the meal. So how to celebrate Mabon? What can we do? What can we get involved with? I think a nice idea is to visit burial mounds and honour the dead. And if you don't have any of those in your area, or if you don't have access to those, you can visit loved ones' graves or places that have a significant attachment to a loved one that's passed. And you can leave an offering, perhaps some apples or some flowers or anything that's in season at the time, things particularly that are being harvested as well. The bonus of that, of course, is that any nature and wildlife that will benefit from that, it's going to help nature out as well.
It's also connecting again with those spirits. One of the traditional ideas was you would go and interact with them, show that you're still have that caring relationship with them, so that they're well disposed to you when they are able to travel across the Vale at Halloween.
At Halloween, so again, preparation for Halloween.
Yes.
Almost a kind of, well, I know this is coming.
I better go
I know
and make
what's
sure
coming
my
next.
ex-wife-in-law is happy with me and
I
stuff
better
like that.
make sure the ghosts that are going to come and say hi on Halloween, we're on good terms.
Yeah.
We're friendly. Yeah. So what else can you do at Mabon?
Oh, for Mabon, for me, growing up, it was always a time to go foraging for a variety of different things. So Mabon for me is the taste of blackberry and apple pies. Or blackberry and apple crumbles, depending on how badly we made the pastry. But that sort of the beginning of that is going out the autumn with my brothers and sisters and gathering as much as
harvesting,
we can. Great time to gather mushrooms as well if you know how to do it safely. Never just go out and grab anything, because a lot of poisonous mushrooms look like the edible ones, so only do it with someone that knows, because otherwise you can get yourself in trouble.
Did you have a family tradition based around when you have to stop gathering?
Yes, that's one that comes from I believe from my grandmother. Well, I say remember it as my grandmother telling me this, is that you can only harvest up until the first frost. Anything after that, you have to leave for the fae folk or the energies or nature, depending on who she was telling this story to. But there's one strange one that I found, that if you're gathering rose hips, it's different to you want to wait. You either have to wait until after the first frost to get them at their best, or you put them in the freezer. So there's ways of cheating.
Yeah, we can cheat that now with technology and having a freezer in the home. So what kinds of things, if you were setting up an altar, really you're looking at the beginning of the harvest, the sort of the harvest season, but anything that's being harvested at the time, and anything that's in flower and in fruit at the time, no matter what time of year you're doing it, those are the things that you should include on your altar. So keep it linking in with whatever's going on in nature at the time. But what are some good things to put on your altar, or use in your incense, or perhaps use within your magic at this time?
Around this time, I would certainly, if like we said earlier, bringing in elements from nature outside. So if you've got leaves that are in the process of changing, anything that brings that connection to this transitional stage. Herbs that can be used magically at this time. Mint is fantastic because it has that connection to the underworld, but also quite a few other positive connotations. Storax, very similar again, but fantastic smell. And myrrh, really traditionally used in honouring the dead. So a mix of these three can be a really nice one to use around this time.
I like to make a list of everything that I'm grateful for. I like to do that frequently, but I like to do that especially at this time of year, knowing that we're going into a darker period. That the days generally, we're in the UK, we're in England, so
it's cold all the time.
It's cold all the time, it's raining all the time. We don't really have a lot of daylight during the day in the winter. It starts to get dark at 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's just so depressing. And I like to make a list of everything I'm grateful for and put it somewhere where I can see it all the time, which is a really good idea, I think, because even if you're seeing it out the corner of your eye, you're subconsciously aware of those things on that list.
Definitely.
So it's a really good thing to do, is just make a big list of everything you're grateful for and stick it up somewhere, maybe on your mirror or something. You can read it while you're brushing your teeth or whatever, and it's a really good thing to keep on your mind through those darker months. It keeps you going, it keeps you feeling grateful during those months. Definitely. And during those hard times.
I mean, gratitude is essential in the process of creation. Whatever you are thankful for, it will increase that energy. So if you're grateful for your pets or your home, or if you're looking for a new job, you might be very grateful for the one you have, because that's going to draw more energy to you and possibly the new opportunity.
And being grateful to any deities,
course,
because it's not, you know, sometimes you might think of Thanksgiving as a Christian festival, but Thanksgiving, you can be giving thanks to the universe, you can be giving thanks to any of your gods or goddesses. It doesn't matter as long as you're giving thanks. And
you get a nice meal.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Another thing I like to do with the changes of the seasons is to have a really good clean around the home. Put away the summer stuff, pack away the summer things, you know, make space and start to bring out things like your cozy blankets, stock up on your candles, the wood for the fire, plan your crafting activities for the darker evenings, you know, things that you might want to get done over the winter. I like to have lots of projects on the go in the winter because it keeps me in the light, it keeps me focused, and it keeps me, you know, really determined to achieve my goals and keep going, whether it's a creative project or whatever it is. And also a good thing to do is to stock up on books so that you've got plenty to read going through the winter as well.
Definitely, this is a fantastic time to stock up on wisdom. You'll see a lot of animals at this time stockpiling nuts for the winter and bring those things. So it's a time for, the beginning of the time for introspection, to work on yourself. So it's very much like the crone going from her mother stage into the wise old crone. So you're trying to show elements of that within your self-development. So it's a fantastic time. If you need to work on yourself, you can do this and not worry about missing a day at the beach.
That's right. That's it. You're not distracted by the fact that it's sunny outside and you just want to get outside.
Yeah, it's raining and it's horrible and you're going,
that's a good power tip actually, is to focus on yourself through the winter. But yeah, I think that's a really, really good thing to do. And I find a really deep connection spiritually during the winter. In the summer as well, but in the summer it feels lighter. It's you know, it's not as heavy. It's just there's definitely a different spiritual feeling going through the different seasons. And Mabon, when we start to look towards Halloween, we start to look towards Samhain, you start to feel that real connection. And they say that at Halloween the veil is at its thinnest. So, you know, we're starting to move towards that. So it's a good kind of power tip to say, focus on yourself, go through your own development, go through your own processes. It's a great time to do that.
It's a great time to wear your witch's hat and not get weird looks as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Feel free to visit our online store, ravenmysticshop.com, where we sell herbs, roots, resins, handmade spell kits, hand-blended incense, t-shirts, and lots of other goodies. So come along and have a look at ravenmysticshop.com. We are also on Etsy. We have an Etsy shop, so find us, Raven Mystic, on there. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for watching.
Leave a comment if you've got any traditions that you might have during Mabon or anything like that. Let us know. It'd be great to hear from you. Thank you so much. Goodbye.